Hey everyone, this is Beth from Art by Beadle, and I am back with you for another day of December with Louisa and Barbara. And we have day 4, and the prompts are a coin envelope, recycled art, and a turtle. So I was thinking about the recycled art, and I'm like, well, I have this. It's a mixed media pad that I'm turning into like a folio that has some of my older art in it. And so I went through it, and I decided that the piece that I wanted to use was this one. The colors in it spoke to me of a turtle. I don't know why. It just did. And so I thought, well, I really don't want to use this print. So I took photos and went over to my printer and I printed. So I took a photo of the top half, the bottom half, and then of the whole piece. So I ended up having 3 different digitals that looked like this. So anyhow, I have these 3 digitals that all match, but yet they're a little bit different. All from some older art that I had done. And I was safekeeping. I like to keep things like this, and I didn't want to ruin it. So I'll put my folder away, and I'm going to do double duty on recycled art. So I have my journal. If you follow me or know me, my work at all, you know that I have this thing called cleanup paper. I've been trying to change it over to something more sophisticated like mixed media paper, but to me it's cleanup paper. So I just call it cleanup paper. I've tried calling it mixed media paper. It just doesn't work. So this is what this is. I have this paper on my work surface. This paper is butcher paper. It has a little bit of a coating to it, but it's not a wax coating like freezer paper or anything. It's just butcher paper. When it's messy, like this is getting close to being messy enough, but it has a ways to go. Then I'll take it and I'll make some mixed media paper out of it and use for my journal. So this is a piece of mixed media paper that I had made a while ago. So it's recycled art. The art began there and ends up in here. And this reminded me of seaweed, or, you know, I don't know. I usually find turtles in a pond. They don't really have seaweed. They have more like scum, whatever, cattails. But I thought, well, this would work for a turtle. So I've cut out Barbara's turtle freebie that she gave me. I don't know which one I want to use, and I might use all 3 of them. And I thought, this does not go too bad at all with this. So my recycled art is going to be both of these, and I will make my coin envelope out of one of these. To make my coin envelope, I'm going to follow just what Louisa and Barbara have done. I'll be right back. I'm going to trim off the edges of this. And I guess this is the one I'm going to use. It's just the one that I picked up. So we need to fold these in. And they say it only has to be enough to overlap. My papers are 8.5 by 11 with just the outside edges trimmed down. So that's about enough to overlap, and that's probably about a 1/2 inch or so. And let's go, making sure that these are even. And hopefully that squares up pretty well. And then they had us fold up a little bit on the bottom, like 1/4 of an inch. And take our bone folder. Mine has taken a hike. Here it is. Take our bone folder and fold that. And then from the top, we'll fold down further, like this. And again, score that. Nice crisp edges on our thing. Unfold it. Take some scissors. And we only need to keep the center parts here. So this one will just go to here and cut off this much. Actually, they went at an angle here, so it folds up better. So I'll go at an angle. And then on top, we go at an angle again on both sides. And then Louisa recommends when we cut these off, we go below the fold line so it's a little bit shorter and we can get into our pocket easier. It's like that. And like that. So then we have our coin envelope. Now, I'm not sure which one said that you can make this wonky if you want so that you can come from corner to corner. I think I'm just going to, once I get it glued together, I am going to punch a hole there. I'm going to save these beautiful scraps, and I want to go around the whole outside edge and this part of the envelope. Now, I printed my my R out onto coffee stained copy paper. And I'm just going to go all the way around this, and then I won't have to worry about whether I got everything I needed. Okay, so now that that's done, I can glue this together. Now, I may not want to glue it together yet, now that I'm thinking about it, because if I add something to the front that I'd want to put a brad or something in, then it's all glued together, and it just, so I'm going to hold off on gluing it together. But that's my coin envelope. Now, how do I want to incorporate the coin envelope and the turtle into this lovely cleanup paper page? I think that's a pretty good match. I love greens. They're my favorite colors. Orange is not so much, but when I was making this piece of art, I thought that it was really pretty, and actually it took me back to the 70s with the orange and the green. Oh my, that might date me. I will come back when I've come up with a plan of sorts for you. Now that I have decided on my page and the papers, and I've made my coin envelope, I took and printed out the turtles that was a free, and there were 4 of them. One of them I didn't get colored in. I watercolored them and then colored them, touched them up with my colored pencils, and then added a little bit of white Posca pen to them. So I have my turtles ready to go. I have my coin envelope ready to go. I need to make my page. Well, this looks like seaweed, yes, but it could also, in my world, be growing in a pond. Why not, right? Also in the pond are cattails. I didn't have any cattails, so I sketched some quick cattails and watercolored them, and also used my colored pencils and then splattered some ink or some watercolors on them. And then I cut them out. On the side of my page, I'm going to add this brown mulberry paper. I'm going to add a strip of my printable from my art. And I have all these cattails and a bunch of reeds also. Where did my reeds go? Anyhow, on the printable is a bunch of reeds here. I'm not sure where mine went. They're here somewhere. Anyhow, I am going to start with gluing down this mulberry paper. I'm pretty darn sure that that's where I want that. I will just use a Yoo-Hoo glue stick because the mulberry paper is very thin. It doesn't take much to hold it down. And that's going to go like right here toward the center. And then I will ink up around the edge of my art, my recycled art. And I'm using Vintage Photo Oxide. And I will also glue that down. Now my idea is to have my turtle coming out from underneath the cattails, peeking out, saying hi, wondering how your day is going. And so I'm going to have to put my cattails down and my turtle down. And I want to go around the edge of my cattails with my ink. Now the cattails, I had taken my printable and I had scanned it, and then I printed my cattails out on some coffee stained copy paper. So they might look different like on white paper. They don't really need inked up too badly either, but we will do it. All right, so I have them inked up. Now, I'd like a little bit of the appearance of a pond down here also. So I'm going to take some watercolors again. I'm going to take my speckled egg ink, and I'm going to, let's see, what can I use? How about just this plastic bag? I'm going to squish a little bit of ink on the plastic bag like this, and I'm going to use that as a watercolor for my piece of coffee stained copy paper that I have chosen. And I have some water here, and I'm just going to add some, give a little bit of water to our little plastic bag here, my brush wet, and just put some water, or put some of this blue, it is speckled egg, onto our copy paper. How about we take and we go like this too, and get some more of that ink picked up. There we go. So we have a clean pond. I've never really seen a clean pond. Not a nice blue pond anyhow. Usually whatever ponds I see are brown. So let's put some brown around the outside edge of this. Give it the appearance of a dirty pond. Maybe if we add a little water to it. Maybe if we take and ruin it. Maybe if we ruin it, right, guys? Okay, so that's my dirty pond water. Let's go like this. All right, let me wipe this mess up. And I'm going to dry my pond. See how our dirty pond water looks on our page now. There. Now, just in case our water is a little deep, our turtle should have something to stand on. So I'm not gluing everything down yet because I'm playing right now and figuring out what I want to do. So I have this sheet of mica, and it's going to pretend it's a rock. And then I have, I think the larger turtle is what I'm using here. And my turtle will stand on the rock. My rock isn't big enough to go all the way across, but my cattails can hide that fact. So we have a piece of mica now on our dirty pond, and we have some cattails coming up out of there. And then we have this big open blank space here. And what shall we do? Okay, I have found my reeds. Now, I want to probably add more of these in here to help fill up some of this space over here. But I can't just fill up this space with just these, can I? Or should we add more to it? I mean, we have enough. My plan is I'm going to take my coin envelope. I am going to add on this turtle, probably a couple of the leaves and some texture, and I'm going to clip that onto my page. I'm not attaching my coin envelope to my page. So this page, I am free to just do whatever I want. I'm not adding a pocket, a tuck spot, a belly band. I'm just decorating and having fun today with this. I think I'm just going to have it be a cattail garden with a turtle on a dirty pond. So I'm believing that we can probably start just pinning things down. I really want to see some contrast between the colors on my page. So I want the light with the dark. I want to see the page behind it. I think I have everything I want on this page here. It's just a matter now of putting it all down. Before I do that, I want one more thing. I want to add some copper embossing to the edges of my cattails. So we'll slide this out of the way. I have this copper embossing. The ink that I'm going to use to make it stick to the edge is my Versamark, and I'm just going to rub that on the edge of my cattails like this, and then I will take my spoon and put some embossing powder on that, and then I will heat set it. Okay, that looks good, but does it look good enough? I think it does. Let's get some ink on these ones and not overthink this process, and ink these guys up and emboss them. I will probably put a little bit more embossing powder on these guys, or embossing ink on them, because I do think I want a little bit more of that copper embossing on these. Looks so nice on the cattails. Yes, I'm in love with that copper embossing. Let's go around before we start putting things down the outside of our page and add some vintage photo ink. So not only did I add some of the vintage photo oxide ink, but I added some copper embossing to the edge of my page as well. Let's put down our water. That's the first thing we need to do. And we also need to find the placement for our mica that we want our turtle to stand on. So it's going to go right here. And I'm going to apply that with the art glitter glue, pretty much just around the edges. And then we're just going to sit our turtle there. What we're going to do is we're going to glue down like the front half of the turtle. And then we're going to put our, you'll see, I'm going to glue the turtle down with some of my art glitter glue, only applying glue currently to the front edge of him so that I can put my cattails in place. All right, so I will start with my biggest ones. And we can add some glue to the back leg. I want to save this in case I want to tuck some down inside. I'm going to apply glue to all that cattail there. And I'm using art glitter glue. I'm not going to press that all down too firmly yet until I'm sure I have everything under and around and in between. Okay, I'm good all except for just this part here. I think we need to add something there. I have a hard time when I'm doing my pages if I put like a vertical row of something and then changing and doing a horizontal row. So I'm not quite sure because probably it needs like a piece of the brown. I suppose that's not so bad. Actually, it's probably pretty good. So let me glue that down. And once I'm sure I have everything where I want, I'll go through and I'll glue more of these down more securely. But I'm not sure if I want to add something more to that or not. It appears that it's missing something. So while I'm contemplating on whether that's a done page or not, I'm going to set it aside. And let's see what we can do with our coin envelope here. We have a couple of our cattail, the reeds. And we're going to use some of this paper, this mulberry paper, because I like to keep it the same when I'm putting two pieces together on a page, like for a pocket or for a journaling card. Whatever I've done to design the main part of the page, I want to add that to my ephemera. So we'll have the turtle standing on this snazzy piece of paper here, and we'll put a couple of these behind him because we have them. And actually, I don't think a couple is enough, but it's what I have. You might say, well, Bev, you can cut out more. I wished I would have colored in this turtle also, but I did not. So let's add a piece of the coffee stain copy paper underneath it to help break it up a little bit more. Oh, that'll look nice on there. That'll look real nice on there. Ink up the edges like this. Put the mulberry paper on top, or let's see, underneath, nope, on top, and then the turtle and the reeds. So we'll glue this down. When you start with for me, when I start with a real busy piece of paper, such as a digital or this piece of art, repurposed art, it certainly doesn't leave you much room for adding more to it because you don't want to detract from it. It's too pretty. But yet, you've got to add something to it. And I don't know if my turtle, I just feel like he's getting lost in all of this here. So I'm wondering if I should put some gesso behind him. The reeds in there. I think I'm going to cut them down a little bit. They're a little bit too tall. All right, guys. It has to have a cattail on it. I have to go print out another sheet. Okay, so when I printed out my second sheet, I did it at half size. So I have a smaller cattail for my coin envelope, which makes a lot more sense. And so I'll put the two bigger ones behind him, and still more needs cut off. They're too tall. Glue those down. And then this little one can go in front of him. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it won't look good. No, he needs to go in back. So we'll glue that down also. So this guy's not on a pond, which the other part didn't look like a pond anyhow. I don't know what tickets have to do with a turtle, but I'm feeling like I need to add something more to it. How about a number? Like I said, I don't know what labels and numbers have to do with a turtle, but it makes sense to me, so we're going to add it. Let's put the turtle down. Her label's by Shabby Dabby Doodah. There we go. All right, so I did not glue this together because I thought I might want to do something more to it, which I do, but I think that what I want to do is stitch around it, and I can do that with it closed. So we can close this up now. Now this is darker than the original art print that I did because I printed it off onto coffee stain copy paper. I almost closed the top up. I don't want to do that. So there's our turtle. Now on our page, I have decided that what it was missing was another turtle. And that's what we need right down here is this other turtle. So let's get him attached. We have a mama and a baby here. That's better. Now I'll glue down my cattails. Okay, so that's all nice and secure. And I think that's enough. I think that's good. It's cute. Cute little turtles. And for in here, we are going to put our turtle card that came from Louisa and Barbara. Ink up around the edges of it. Both front and back. And then stamp some journaling lines on it. Now we have a journaling card, and that can be put inside our Perfect. I do want to punch a thumbnail or thumb hole here. Put a little ink around that. So when it comes time to journal in here, if I decide to use this for a journal, writing journal, I probably will add maybe some paper in here because that's not very much journaling room just on the back of that. And then we have actually can go over the top like this. We have a whole lot of turtles. I'm not so sure this was a good idea, adding all these turtles on here. Well, if I decide I don't like it, you know, I can always put it over here, which is really cute. For now, let's set it up here. And I have this Tim Holtz clip that I'm just going to hold that on with, just like that. So there's my project for today, all these turtles, and I hope you have maybe gotten some inspiration from it, and I hope you're having a good time doing the Defemmer. It is a fun project, that's for sure. So thank you for watching, and we shall see you again when we do day 5. Boy, this is going quick. Have a great day, guys. Bye now.